It's the FooRcast. Me, Gavin Ford.
Aki.
Double T.
O-Dog, the scumbag bear. Rare thing, we're all wearing shorts.
About time.
First day that it's acceptable for Owen to wear shorts. How does it feel?
Liberating.
I thought he might have come in naked because obviously winter he wears shorts. The summer he might level up and come in actually like.
I thought he might have just come full wacky and worn a coat. Just gone reverse. But yeah,
anyway.
Thank God he didn't come in naked.
Seasonally challenged.
So I was listening to a podcast the other day with a guy called Nick Raphael, who's like, he signed Sam Smith and that various other artists. He's a big music industry guy. And he said the 4 things that artists need for success. Now these 4 things would be, obviously he's talking about big pop stars like Sam Smith. So I'm going to say the 4, we'll work through the 4. Let's see, 1, if you agree, and 2, if you think it applies to dance music, because it might not, O-Dog. And I'll go in the order that he said them. Let's see if you agree with the order as well, O-Dog.
Okay.
And Dog.
Is this the order that he's put as priority, or is it just a list?
I think so. He didn't see 1, 2, 3, 4. He definitely said this was the most important thing. He said the most important thing for making it in music is likability. So he's saying no matter how good your music is, if people don't like you as a person, you got something about you that people don't get on with or associate with, then you're not going to make it. And he used Madonna as an example, saying where would she finish in a song in a singing competition, saying that she's not a great singer, but people obviously like her. Do you agree with that? Not about Madonna being a bad singer. Do you agree with likability being important? So think about it.
I think it does. I think how they come across on interviews and stuff like that, and as a fan, it's important.
Can you think of an artist that you listen to but you don't like them as a person? My
favourite band, heavy metal, shouty, screamy band.
What are they called?
They're called Counterparts.
Oh yeah, Aki likes them.
I don't really have any basis for this, but I get the impression that if I met the lead singer in real life, I don't think I'd like him very much.
Oh,
shots fired.
But that doesn't stop me listening to their music or going to their live shows.
So if you saw him and you bumped into him and he said, "O-Dog, the scumbag bear, I've heard you're a proper scumbag," and then walked off, you would still listen to their music the next day?
Maybe not if he said it word
directly.
For word like that.
Directly is quite different.
But I don't know, like.
Oh, let me give you more. If he did an interview and he said something you saw the interview and it confirmed your suspicions that he was, he wouldn't be a good person. Maybe he said stuff that you didn't agree with or whatnot. Would you listen to his music the next day?
Probably, because they've been the one band that I've listened to constantly for 10 plus years, and I really like their music. And maybe for me, the likability of the music is more important than the likability of the people or the person.
What about you, Ak?
I'm actually saying I have no basis for saying that in case the lead singer of Counterpart sees this. I'm sure he's a lovely guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he is too. I can't believe you attacked him so viciously. Ak?
I mean, like, people say like Kanye West is a bit out there crazy, but I still listen to his music.
Do you listen to R. Kelly?
No, but I like his music.
Yeah, it's
it's a tough one. That.
It's got some heaters, but it's not. But that's not.
But there's an era where we loved his music, and then he's diminished that by what he's done.
But that's different because it's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. But yeah, it doesn't come across like.
Yeah, there's a difference between being likable and being that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the most important thing. Definitely from a dance music perspective, because I think you like what works in a club. But for example, Serum's really likable, isn't he?
Mm.
And I think you go, I like him, and then I think I like his music more because of how he is.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor. If you see someone online and they come across well, and you like how they are online, obviously Serum's a really good example of that, then I think you are more likely to go out and listen to their music, and therefore you might, because you like their music and you're following them and actively engaging with them online, you may enjoy their music more because it's more of an experience.
But we come from a time when you listen to DJs on tape packs, you didn't know what anyone even looked like, let alone what they were like as people. Yeah. So I guess maybe it's for dance music you don't care as much. But
I absolutely agree with the statement in terms of from a label perspective. No one wants to work with an artist if they're a dickhead.
Oh yeah, maybe part of it means when you have it. Well, this leads to his other point, which was actually I think the last point, but it leads to it. Is he says that if you have a manager that's an idiot, you need a good manager, because if your manager's an idiot, you're not going to get signed. Which means it's back to likability, isn't it? Because there are artists that you work with that are a pleasure and a dream, and managers that you work with that are a pleasure and a dream, and there are managers that aren't a pleasure and a dream and just seem to make things difficult
That's definitely a behind the scenes thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't go running to the guy with the awkward manager to do the opportunity. That's not that managers are bad. Like, not all managers are bad, but that's what he says. But I guess that goes to likability of, if you walk into an office, if you went into someone's office of a label and said, "Oh, I'm going to play you my new album," and the album was amazing, but you're in a meeting and you're a helmet, I think it's going to cause problems. But I don't think it's going to have a.
It depends who's there. If they judge you on the music, or judge you by your character, I guess.
But I think you're investing in the person, aren't you?
I guess so.
And he's talking from a major label perspective, so maybe it's like if someone's got. These people are talking about investing like hundreds of thousands of pounds. I
think likability is important for me as well. Another artist who I followed on social media before I even liked his music was Lewis Capaldi years ago when he started on Instagram, and he's like, I just found him funny, and then it developed into his music. Do you know what I mean? But he's a likable guy. So,
but also this guy's probably talking from a perspective of people that are like Capaldi, who are like massive. And like he comes out on Glastonbury and then sort of Google and. Like
Adele, she's got a good bit of character about her.
Yeah.
Just people like that. You know?
Maybe the biggest people are the most likable. Maybe he's right.
There's got to be a correlation. Although Oasis.
Yeah, but people in the 90s.
Yeah.
They like that was the culture, and you wanted to be like.
But then some people like the rebel and like.
That's what music was about. That part of it is going against the system, and they were like. Yeah. They were cool. You were like, I wanted to be like Liam. I had the Burberry shirt from the Wonderwall video. I actually had hair like him. If you can, when I had hair back in the day. Like.
Love to see that.
Yeah. So that's you wanted to be. That was the cool thing to be. Maybe not so much now. You wouldn't get.
I think it's changed a little bit now.
I think a lot of it is the likability of the music, though, because I think you hear a lot about certain frontmen of bands who aren't maybe the nicest people or have a bad reputation, but they're still headlining festivals and selling out shows and like get millions of streams and stuff.
All right, so likability
is important in my opinion. If you look,
it's important if you're going to be massive.
If you kind of judge the biggest stars in the world, Ed Sheeran and stuff like that, they're all kind of likable people.
Yeah. So, okay, but from a dance music perspective, not as important.
Not as important.
I don't think so. No.
But always important behind the scenes if you're an artist, I think.
The second one is work ethic.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always find it crazy when artists sign to a label, dance label, like a big label, and they get an opportunity to release like a showcase single or something with them, and then they put no effort into promoting it. They see the signing of the track as that's my job done.
So do you think some people are fooled into that? Like,
yeah,
because
maybe
because it's a major or whatever, it's going to do well no matter what.
Maybe that's what it is that they put all of their effort into getting it signed.
Well, I think back in the day, if you signed to a label, that was it. You made it and they did all the work. But nowadays,
doesn't quite work like that, does it?
Nowadays, you've still got to do the most work. You've still got to outwork the label. The label are only going to start working when the record starts working in a major label perspective. But with our label, we're 50-50. Like, we'll match your energy and then like we'll put as much.
Yeah, but like saying that, I see was MK's new one, Dior song. I saw MK every day promoting that song every day, every single day be on it. So like, I feel like you still got to promote it even if you're a high level name.
He's been doing it for so long. Like he knows
Yeah, he knows it, but I mean, every day I saw everything, different content from him.
Yeah, but different artists are different. You know what I mean? That's it. Like he has it. That's why he's been around for 30 years, because he's got that work ethic, and it doesn't stop when people don't like to do content and stuff. I think we are artists. We speak to them, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm working real hard because they're in the studio, and obviously that is hard work. But once that, you've got to come out, you've got to do content, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do the business element of it. You can't just stop. So I think the important thing is, obviously there's no doubt that work ethic is in there, but it's work ethic over talent.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I think from our perspective of label people working in labels, like it's always the people we say who are the ones sending messages every day and stuff like that, which like you can see that as being a bit jarring, but actually it shows that they've got like, the motivation and the work ethic.
Yeah. We did a podcast.
said before, being a pest is very important.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, we did a podcast a couple of weeks back, and we said the most important, like this is the one thing they all have in common. The artists that have gone on to have major careers, they've all been like persistent, and that's what it is. You got to be persistent, going to the studio, persistent doing the content, persistent contacting people that are helping you. As you say, if you go to a label and then you just assume that they're going to do everything, like even if they are going to do anything, you got to be phoning them up and checking them, making sure they are doing it and they are pushing it. But I think because because the music promotion has gone to a point where you have to do a lot of it yourself anyway, even if you're signed to a major, that it gets a bit blurred, doesn't it? Because then you think, oh, the label's not doing anything. So you got to make sure you go into a label and saying, what are you going to do and what am I going to do? And then go and then accept that or not. Go, okay, that's not enough for what percentage or what. Like, this is what the conversations you need to have beforehand, especially if it's your song that you think is a big one, because you only get one shot at it. So that's what.
So out of the two, what do you think is more important, work rate or likability?
I think I have a good mix of that. I think work rate is in dance music anyway.
Yeah, I think you look at MPH, his work rate through lockdown. Like over lockdown, we're doing the best tunes of the month podcast because we were just in.
Yeah,
he was in it every single month.
Yeah.
Like that work rate is thing. Like it was. Like, that's your thing, and like this, I think with music it is. You just think if you look at like Lockers now, for example, putting out originals and bootlegs, and people just go, oh, like, I just keep liking. Not that these people are unlikable by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that's the first thing people know. Like the thing is, you hear the songs at the raves, hear the songs at the thing. Like
I think also as well as an identity. Like Lockers has got his sound's got an identity that everyone hears every month as well, which helps it.
Yeah, it's obvious it's him.
It's not like he's doing different sounds here and there. He's got an identity. I know, like earlier on, we played you a song. He went straight away. It was that Lockers. So I think that's an important thing as well.
Yeah. So I think,
especially with dance.
I think with dance music, well, I think with all of it, that's not on that list is that uniqueness.
Yeah.
Because if you hear something and then you go, oh, that's you put it to that thing like Virgie. Virgie is likable. He has that big, like even from his clips, he's like smiling. It's impossible to hate.
He's always smiling on the stage. It's like infectious.
Uniqueness.
Happiest guy ever.
Obviously got the work ethic. He's doing all these things. I don't know. Like he's an example, I suppose. That I think they're all important, but I think work ethic is the most important in our thing. I think likability. He's talking about global superstars, isn't he? There. Like, because you got to go and do interviews with people and be doing the thing. It's not like, are you likable in your bedroom going, my new song's out, or I've just made this, or, you know, whatever it is you do content-wise. Like, even though there are some dance people who do content and I look at it and I think, I'm not a fan of that content. But it wouldn't stop me listening to their music. You don't go, or put a tune on and go, take that off because I just saw this post and, you know.
Yeah.
So I think dance music-wise, but I guess it's... So I put work rate top.
I think being noticed is important.
I'd put likability at the bottom for dance music.
Yeah, being noticed.
Work rate, talent, being a knob, or having a manager, someone in your camp that's a knob that represents you. Then likability in dance music, because I don't think if you haven't got the top three, no one's going to hear or care about your music to care if you're likable as a human. We don't like I don't care what he's like as a human. His music's rubbish. I've not heard it. He's done one tune a year. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think work rate definitely is.
And if you haven't got someone good representing you, you're not going to get, you know, on the gigs, on the labels, or, you know, if you're working for yourself and you're not likable anyway, you're not going to get on the labels, but you have to do it all yourself. Yeah. So I think it's bottom for dance music.
Yeah.
Anyone want to disagree? Anyone want to fight me?
No, I think I agree with that one. Yeah. But I think the manager is important as well. I do think.
Yeah.
You've got a manager.
Also, there's an artist I saw, and his music's quite good, but he just wears shorts all year round, no matter the weather. Like, horrible behaviour. But his music's still good.
Is it?
I'll take the compliment.
No, Owen's an example, actually. He's a nice guy, and you're improving, and I'm seeing your sound develop now. And I think if you keep doing that, you'll...
Well, yeah, your drum and bass. Yeah, when you used to do drum and bass, it sounded like a double T song.
Yeah.
You said about that before.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. You got to sound.
Yeah, I think you're in a groove now. You just got to keep that going, that sound. So
there you go. What a positive way to end. But let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with our order. Let us know if you think there's anything missing. But I think if with all those things, I think that's the key. But yeah, I'd put likability at the bottom.
What was the third one? Likability,
work ethic, talent. And then having a manager that's thing. But again, I think maybe even the manager that thinks you don't need a manager till later on in dance music. And if you don't, you could put out stuff by yourself and people would listen to your music and you go, thing. So those two are
I reckon 20 years ago, talent was the most important. Probably. Because you weren't in the line, you were just making records.
You still have to work.
Yeah, you
talent
do.
And work rate are
but I mean, talent was quite important back then, like selling records and stuff, I think.
But we've had people, we've worked with people in the last 10 years that have been insanely talented and have got no work ethic whatsoever. Yeah. And they just is a bit like the most talent. Like some of these people are incredible. Like you kill for a little bit of their talent, and they just haven't got the work rate. And they, and that they've been likable, they've been good to deal with, but they walk out the room and they...
I think it's being patient as well, isn't it? Sticking to what you're doing as well is important.
Yeah.
Some of them get bored or they don't... If it's not happening quickly for them,
that's the
they
thing.
don't. They think it's done.
It's a slog sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, someone like Lockers is obviously like he's starting to get noticed and getting these gigs now, but like
it's a slog.
It's sort of been a steady incline, and we're just waiting for that moment for him to then take off.
Yeah.
But do you think sometimes labels could big them up too much? Say your music's amazing, but it's not quite doing what it's doing. And it's taken a long time, and then they think.
I don't think it's that. It's just that lots of labels then. That they will mean that, and they won't be wrong in saying it, but then they won't do much to be able to help them progress.
That's it.
Rather than just release their music.
Yeah, I think there's a thing. There's like labels that do absolutely nothing, just put the music out. There's major labels that give you loads of money, and then they're putting its stuff out. But if it doesn't react quickly, they sort of stop.
Yeah.
And then there needs to be more in the middle, like labels like us that put effort and time and money in. There needs to be I've always said that, especially for garage, there needs to be one above us. Like, cause we're doing amazing. We're great at finding artists and getting them to a point. There needs to be the next level up that puts it between major label and us. Yeah. So finding them, because you're not going to make that jump. But hey, that's a conversation for another time. But let us know if you listening for now. If you disagree with us, put it in the comments. Wallop.